Now, we got to see Carl Sagan's YouTube, his issue of Cosmos. I hope those Greek subtitles help many of you out, just as they did me. Um, I'm in a worse situation than you. I actually took a semester of Greek, excuse me, did not do very well. But I just want to highlight a few things that Carl Sagan was talking about. He was talking about, started with a person, Thales. And he mentioned that Thales kind of got everything started. That is, before Thales' time, everything, the explanation for everything that transpired, everything that happened there was some kind of myth. But what Thales saw, he said, was cosmos versus the myth. That is, there was a natural phenomena. There was order as opposed to chaos. There was people. He was trying to apply reason as opposed to relying on superstition. Now, if you think about it, back in ancient Greece, in the ancient times in general, when people tried to explain what happened, what did they rely on? What were their explanations? How did the world come into being? Back then, it was the gods getting together and creating. The first god created all the other gods, and they created the world, some of which were themselves gods. If a ship went out to sea on a fishing expedition, didn't return, what was the explanation of why it didn't return? It was the god Poseidon, the ocean god, who was mad at the people and as a result sank the ship. If there was a thunderstorm, it was the god of the heavens throwing down bolts of lightning. Zeus was throwing down bolts of lightning. If there was an earthquake, it was the god Hades from the underworld shaking things up. Now, Thales was looking for something to explain what happened, to provide reasons for what happened. So what we hear him telling us about is the reason or the material that got started. It was the material making up the universe that brought everything to existence, and everything was made of water. We'll get into that a little bit later during semester, but they're pointing out when philosophy and science got started, prior to that, there were no real explanations. There were superstitions about how things happened. And now the change that Thales and his student Anaximander and his student Anaximenes brought into the world was trying to find a reason, an explanation for things that did not require appealing to some supernatural entities. The question is, in the old days, how would you even question whether Poseidon, whether Hades did something? What's the alternative explanation? But notice, with regard to Thales, he says it's water, and his student says, wait a second, you can't explain that. But we'll get into that more later on the semester. But I think we're getting an idea of where philosophy got started now and what it was trying, what it was seeking to explain, what it was seeking to know.